what's happening, world? Welcome to my healing corner of YouTube or the internet. My name is Sister Oz, also known as Royal Kandake, or Royal Kandake, also known as Sister Oz. Today, I am beginning my series of just sharing informative version of the challenges that I face as I embark on this journey of healing my relationship with food. So I am on a very healthy breakup relationship with food currently, and I'm having a series whereby I document my experience for the day. Like it's like a journal entry kind of thing, and it's like in this playlist that I've saved this video in, which is healing from food. So, in this video, I want to deal with overeating. Overeating is a thing. Firstly, I am not an expert. I'm a person who's been going through the challenge of being able to not control themselves around food, no matter how healthy the food may be. Like in 2000 and earlier on in my life, I let go of meat. I let go of a lot of unhealthy stuff, and I gained a very health consciousness, so I had that. Since then I was able to be on point. I was even in like venturing on exploring fruitarianism, raw diet, raw food, raw eating, stuff like that. And then life happened late in my late 20s, and I got challenges, and so it's been just spiraling and just ebbs and flows since then or until recently, which is like last year I got my momentum. I got to see what works and what doesn't work eventually. This is after more or less 5 years. So my issue right now is it's not working out in terms of like being healthy and whatnot, and being able to acquire the desired physique that I want walking into my adulthood. I'm not in the best of physiques, and I feel like it has to do a lot with my relationship with food. So today I'm going to share what my understanding is. So my understanding, I'm open for growth. If there's somebody who knows more, please share that with us. If there's somebody who can correct me, I'm open to that. So I'm just sharing my experience. So overeating, I want to tackle overeating around the fact of, or around the um context of why do people do that. And for me, I've summed it down to just food addiction. And today in this video, I'm going to be talking about the definition of food addiction, the causes of food addiction that lead to overeating, the causes, the symptoms, the effects, and the treatment eventually. So if you see me looking this side, I have my notes. So I'll be like glancing down just to be on point. Okay, so just very roughly, food addiction is the inability to control yourself around food and to eating copious or uncontrollable amount of food at one sitting, right? That is food addiction. And even, and that specifically applies to certain foods. Most people are not addicted to apples or bananas, or food that is not overly processed. So I feel like food addiction or overeating always revolves around these salty, sweet, or combination of salt and sweet foods, which are mostly junk, processed, man-made foods. We'll get into that later on in the video. So what causes this? And I'm going to be very controversial, because this is an industry, and we know that it is an industry. It is fed by something, an industry that seeks to feed other industries that seek to keep us in ill ways, right? So I understand that. So what causes the addiction, in my opinion, is the chemicals that are put in the food. You eat the food, it comes into your system, and the brain so it binds where it binds, and then the brain chemistry is affected because these foods, they allow you to, they in your body, when they get into your bloodstream, they release dopamine, which is the feel good or the pleasure um hormone, or the reward center or hormone, right? So we'll talk about the treatment. So those are the causes. It could also be caused by an inability to manage or cope with life challenges, which is what happened to me. The symptoms of this is like eating when you're not hungry, even when you're not hungry, eating beyond the point of being satiated. And when you try to stop these things, you experience withdrawal symptoms like headaches, irritability, mood swings, etc., etc. Sometimes this diarrhea, the most. And then the last symptom is that you have uncontrollable cravings for these food items. Remember, it's not food. And then the effects of the food addiction is that physically, for me, it's played out very physically, in the sense that I become lethargic. I experience what they call itis, which is the feeling that you have when you've eaten a large, or just a meal that has, heavy amount of carbohydrates in it, and you just feel lethargic and want to sleep. It's also called a food coma. So those over time eventually cause fogginess, mental, unclarity, inability to concentrate, lethargy, constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, gut complications, which for ladies leads to throwing off your pH, and. So those are the physical ways that it plays itself out. Emotionally, it all, because it's a it has a ripple effect on your life, because of all these negative things that are happening physically, they will translate and show up emotionally. So you find people going through stress, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, etc., etc. So those are the things. And then for me, the last effect of what overeating or food addiction can do is isolation. So for me, because I knew that there was something not okay with me, I don't like to show myself out there when I'm going through the most, and I have no plan, or I am challenged by the plan or by the situation. So I isolate, and I've been isolating for the past, trust you me, 10 years, plus minus, more or less, right? So the treatment and management of overeating, which is what I'm currently doing right now. 3 ways: behavioral intervention, support groups, as well as medical intervention. So I am dealing with behavioral intervention, which is what I'm doing and documenting on this channel. Is every evening I do a calendar sorry, I do a diary entry for sort of video, where I share how my day went. Was I able to meet what I needed to meet? Was I able to fast? Was I able to consume foods that have no sugar, carbs, etc., etc.? So far so good, and so that's my plan. So I be mindful, I journal, I pray, I'm engaging all, like I said in my intro video, I'm engaging all elements, especially divine elements that want nothing but the best and good for me, to reach and elevate to the level that I desire. So I incorporate them. So I pray, I do my altar work, I do the most. So those are the treatments. Support groups along the line, that is my plan, because there is no community like that already exists. I intend on creating one once I have mastered and embodied whatever it is that I'm going through and understood it. I would want to join forces with other women and learn and provide support for anybody else who would want to heal from this, like us. And then medical intervention is definitely, for now, because of the, no, not for me, but medical intervention, people go through the most. They go to, like, the gastric sleeves and the gastric bypasses and stuff like that. People do the most just to curb that. Sometimes people take medications and all of that. For example, because of this, I'm taking hibiscus tea drink or whatever. I make a tea and I dilute it in water and I sip on it throughout the whole day. I concentrate it a lot into 1 liter, and then throughout the day I pour like the concentrated pot. This is a liter volume container. So I pour the concentrated hibiscus tea, this full, and then I fill it up with water, and then I sip on it throughout the whole day. And that for me is for inflammation. I also consume like ginger and turmeric that also help with inflammation, because inflammation is what we cannot see. So I would say that I'm going about it the therapeutic route. So hopefully, um, I was able to share and be candid about how I relate with the topic of food addiction and overeating, but I'm challenging it, and today, so far so good, so far so good. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'll catch you on the next video. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you like this content, or if you are also going through what I'm going through, which is trying to understand your relationship with food and trying to, make it better and make it more healthy, not toxic, please join me. Let's join forces. Let's make a community. It's not a wide community because people are overly fixated on exercise and nobody's talking about food and our inability to control ourselves around food, certain foods that cause this, and maybe it can be another conversation for another day, but this was just a very high level overview of what I feel food addiction is. Thank you so much for watching my video. Catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.